All right, so I want to start up by saying congrats on getting casted on Power Book 2 Ghost.
Thank
Such a
you.
big deal. So what was the audition process like?
The audition was really crazy. It was like I just got the audition through my agent, and it didn't really tell you anything. It was just like it was for Ghost, but it turned out to be my first scene with Sax, the one where she gets arrested for buying weed. So it's like, okay, she's kind of a badass. But obviously I didn't know the character was going to be Sax or anything. So I just went in and auditioned, and I was like, okay, hope I get a call back, whatever. So a week later, it was Thanksgiving weekend, and I was down in Florida. And they're like, okay, they want to see you Monday morning at 10 a.m. And there was like going to be a hurricane that night and in Florida. So I was like, okay, we have to change the flight and so I can make it back in time. And so we did. And then went in, I was like, okay, I don't know. Like it was with Courtney and Shanna. She directed the first episode that I was on, and they were super nice. But I don't know. You just like don't know with these things. And then an hour later, um, they were like, okay, we want to invite you to the table read. We just have to clear it with stars first. And so an hour later, I walked into a table read with like 80 people, and I still didn't know if I had the part. And then Courtney, in front of everyone, was like, okay, stand up, Andrea. She's playing Riley. And I was like, oh my God, this is so
What?
crazy.
Is that normal? Like, is that how it works? You do this table read and then they're like, you got it in front of everybody?
Oh my God. I don't think so. But I think they like, I don't know. It was very last minute for sure. Like went into an audition on Monday morning, like at the table read 3 hours later. It was
Whoa,
wild.
that's awesome. Well, yes, big congratulations. But for people who are not caught up all the way on the show, can you tell us a little bit about your character?
Yes, so Riley is Cooper Sax's niece. She gets busted in Central Park for buying weed. Um, and he blackmails her. He's like, okay, I won't tell your moms what you were doing if you tail Tariq for me. And she's like, okay, sounds good. But then she obviously gets caught up with them because his instructions to her was just to be like, okay, observe and report. And she just doesn't care, obviously. And she gets caught up with Brayden. And yeah.
I mean, fans have a love and hate feeling towards Sax. Either they
Yeah.
like love to hate him or they actually just love him and I'm supporting him. How do you
Really
feel about
love him.
some people love him because he's just trying to get these criminals in prison, but at this point you're so invested in the criminal activity that you don't want him to win. So people do want him to win, surprisingly. I'm not a fan of Sax. I don't want him to win. How are you
Yeah.
feeling?
Um, well, it's complicated because I don't want to be a snitch, but it's funny because before the show came out, I was reading all these comments about Tariq and how people feel about him. They're like, oh my God, I hate Tariq. And then now he's obviously the lead of the show and they're like really rooting for him. And I don't know, that's the cool thing about this show is that you can, like, everybody has a backstory and not everybody's good.
Yeah.
um, yeah, but I hope people like Riley.
Yeah. You don't want that hate. It does get intense.
Yeah, it's funny because I've been reading I've been lurking on Twitter, and everybody's like, "Oh man, Riley's got to go. Sax is gonna get her killed." And I'm just like, yeah.
Oh, it's really hard, us Ghost and Power fans. It's hard because you get attached to a character and then they might just die. So I understand that. I understand the sentiment.
It's
Um,
dangerous.
so what is the vibe like on set? Are you guys friends? Is it really just work? It's very hard to understand what this work life is when you're an actor.
Yeah, I was definitely intimidated at first because, like, especially at the table read, like, I walk in and there's like Method Man and like Mary J. Blige and Courtney Kemp, and I'm like, ah, and and but everybody is so nice and so willing, and like Michael is so nice, and I just feel like we're all friends, and I don't know. I couldn't have asked for a better like first show to be on,
Yeah.
really.
It's honestly incredible. But how did you get your start in acting?
Well, I did commercials as a kid, but I never thought that I never thought of it as like a serious career until I did a musical freshman year of high school, Oliver. And I played Wench. Just like a chorus girl part, but like something about being on stage is so like infectious and contagious that I just wanted to do it as a career. So after that, after high school I went to NYU for drama, and been auditioning ever since.
Oh, wow. Okay. I like the come up. And speaking
Yeah.
of, you also used to intern at the Nocturnal. So
I
how
know.
was that?
This is so wild. It's like a crazy full circle moment.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I started interning for the Nocturnal. Well, I started interning for Shayna first, like way back freshman year, like in 2013. And this was before the Nocturnal existed. And I was introduced to her by a friend who was already interning for her. And she was like, oh, Shanna always needs people to like cover like red carpets and fashion week and stuff. And I was like, oh, I really want to do that, of course. And so I started working with her, and then that evolved into being the Nocturnal. And yeah, it was really fun, good experience. I'm glad I did it.
And here you are years later being interviewed by the Nocturnal. That's really crazy. I love that.
So crazy. Oh my God.
So Ghost is a really great kickoff to your acting career. But what would be the ideal role for you?
Ideal role for me. I really want to do, well, I really want to have like a really like touching coming of age story, like in The Farewell or Lady Bird, like an indie like that where it like really tugs at your heartstrings, and it's really like raw and, you know, an unflinching look at what it means to be like a young woman.
Ooh, I like that. I can see you in a role like that too, like Lady Bird. Who would you want to work beside you? Who would you want to be your mom?
Oh my God. Well, I don't know. It's hard because I feel like there is not like would the mom character be like the white side of my family or the Asian side of my family?
Yeah.
um
Does that matter to you that you might be like playing just a white girl sometimes, or possibly an Asian? Does it bother you?
I mean, I just want to bring like truth to the story, you know, like yeah. I mean, I don't want to like offend anyone, or you know, I think in this time it's like really important to not, you know, not step on toes of people like trying to tell their specific story. So, you know, what really serves the filmmaker is perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully we get to you open doors when we get a really dynamic character that is white and Asian and all of it and claiming both. Hopefully you open doors because that would be amazing.
Yeah, yeah. No, that it'd be incredible to do a story like that, especially if it's like an Asian story, because I've not really seen like a like Chinese girl coming of age story other than The Farewell,
Yeah.
who's with a story that's like treated that way, you know, with such like care and grace.